And members of the Sikh community in Nottingham are using a back-to-basics approach to engage the next generation. Regular events will be held in English rather than Punjabi for young Sikhs to break down barriers of learning about their faith.
But first, passing on your faith to the next generation is a challenge for believers of any religion. Well, in Nottingham, there are moves among the Sikh community to go back to bases and use English to educate and engage younger people about their faith. And they believe it's leading to a resurgence in interest in Sikhism. Well, in the studio, I'm joined by Gurjeet Singh, who's from the Gurdwara on Nottingham Road in Carrington, who helps to organise regular events for young Sikhs in English. And in a moment, you'll hear from Saroop Singh, who is a full-time educator of the Sikh faith. And both of them are here this morning. Good morning, Gurjeet. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So let's talk about this then. English in Gurdwaras. How new a concept is it?
It's actually been going on for a few years now to varying degrees. So probably around about 10 years ago, you started seeing Gurdwaras across the country rolling out projector screens, having on the laptop. So as a service is being read in Punjabi, you have English translations up. Obviously, the new generation, English is their primary language, so it makes sense to connect with them in a way that they can understand. So English talks started happening as well, so you start seeing some services take place in English or just different sessions. And just a couple of years ago, I think it might have been 3 years ago, Basics of Sikhi, who Saroop Singh is part of, that organisation came about, and they've started a lot of workshops. They're going across the country just doing things in English, so in evenings, and they've got a lot on their YouTube channel, so it helps a lot.
I was going to say, what kind of a difference does it make?
We found that a lot of the youngsters, but also my sort of age 30s, who are born in this country, we've been going to the Gurdwara, listening to the service in Punjabi, doing the best that you can to understand it, and now having that extra help in English to sort of get more of a grasp of what is happening. You find people are trying to reconnect more, they're going deeper, sort of get into the roots of Sikhism, the spirituality, the love, peace, tolerance, and just going into the religion in a much deeper level.
What do the older members of the community make of this?
We do sometimes, when we start an English talk, apologise to them. Because obviously some of the older generation, Punjabi is their primary language. Yeah. But everybody seems up for it. We've had no issues. Everyone sees it as a progressive thing. Obviously the scriptures are in Punjabi, and we still try and get everybody to learn Punjabi because the scriptures are actually all written in poetry and music. So as you can understand, you hear something in one language, you try and translate it. You don't always take that same message across or the same feelings as you would. So we still have the English translations up, and that sort of grabs people and awakes their interest, really, to start learning Punjabi and finding out more.
Yeah, let's hear a little bit from Saroop, who's on the line this morning. Good morning to you, Saroop.
Good morning.
It's interesting, this, isn't it? I mean, you clearly going around different Gurdwaras and speaking. What kind of reaction do you get?
More or less is quite positive, because a lot of the youth, because they've grown up they used to listen to English, and now they're hearing Punjabi, not really understanding. So when somebody comes and speaks English, it's like, oh wow, I actually understand what's going on now. So more or less it is quite positive from the youth.
Yeah, and then the whole community, has it taken a bit of persuasion?
It was a bit hard, because the people who actually run the Gurdwara, more or less, the older generation didn't really understand English that much. But slowly, when they start understanding that the youth aren't really into Sikhi, they're not really understanding what Sikhs do. So then they sort of allowed us in, and now it's grown hugely.
And do you find that when you are giving your talks, is it about stripping Sikhism back to its basics and then building up from there?
Yeah, it depends on what kind of places you go to. Some places there's a lot of people who don't really know anything, so you've got to kind of judge to their audience. But yeah, a lot of the time we do try and go back to the basic and try and explain the how, the what, the why of the simple things that Sikhs do.
And you are in Nottingham today to explain about one of the Guru Masters?
Yeah.
Which one in particular?
So we've got our third Guru, Guru Amar Das, going through their lives and what they did.
Okay. Well, Saroop, thank you very much for joining us today. And when it comes, Gurjeet, when it comes to how people are interested, are you seeing more people? Is it making a difference in terms of the numbers of people that are coming to the Gurdwara?
We do, and we find, as I said, people connecting at a deeper level.
Yeah.
So there's some people who've been coming to the Gurdwara for many years, and they've stumbled across, for example, the Basics of Sikhi YouTube channel, started learning more, and they've come to the Gurdwara and they're just like, wow, like there's so much more than I ever realised. So we do see more and more youth coming in, taking it to a deeper level. It is really good.
And you're smiling now.
Yeah.
Really positive.
Yeah, it is good. And the Gurdwara is open for all. So, for example, the talk is taking place at 12 o'clock today. If anybody from Nottingham wants to come, regardless of faith, gender, religion, the Gurdwara is always open for a free meal as well. So come down, have a look. Yeah.
I was going to say, if there's one thing I know Gurdwaras do really well, it is food. It's part of being Sikh. Isn't it?
You were talking about in the work as well the three main principles of Sikhism, the three sort of founding pillars. One was remember God all the time, and it's serve others, so food, and do an honest living.
Yeah. Well, have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming in. Gurjeet Singh, you were hearing just from there, and Saroop Singh as well, who was on the phone. It is 14 minutes past.